town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. With crimson secrets and forbidden bliss, can't stay still, don't stop that thrill. My bones crave your skin, temptation within, mistakes ignite the silence. Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. Yeah.
How's it going, everybody?
It's your man PooNanners, your Texas caster and hype master. Here with Arshee. We're going to talk about our feelings. We found that we have these lengthy conversations, especially Arshee, with other people online. They just get to yapping, and no one gets to hear these fun, lengthy conversations we have. I was like, that's just a waste of good content. So come on, Arshee, let's talk about what's going on in our lives.
I know, right?
Happy,
So
makes you sad.
PooNanners came to me with the idea of like, hey, let's do Feelings Friday, and I thought, what is Feelings Friday? He's like, hey, this is just chat about life in general, and I was like, I like that idea. I don't have to interview people. I can just talk about any subject. My chat can basically get engaged, and we can actually understand like what PooNanners. Oh, you just zoomed in. I just zoomed out to match you.
How about trying to match this with your
there
Zoom?
We go. No, I can't do that. He's got too many effects that I don't have. He's super epic on that. But on that note, let's see. How come that background is not moving? I thought I did that.
It died.
So restart playback when sort becomes
the
active.
properties thing, and then just hit OK, and it'll give it a nice bump. What I found with OBS is that when you're running high bitrate MOV files, that they'll just randomly crash. Basically, they'll just freeze, which is one of the reasons why you want to optimize them. It's okay.
Oh, there we go. Got it. Got to work.
So yeah, we were talking about among the many things that we talked about when we have to one of us has to leave in order to go do things.
Look at this.
Flash in the past.
Look at
Maelstrom. Oh, hey man.
Maelstrom's going. Maelstrom showed up. He's like, oh.
I taught that guy everything he knows about programming.
Oh no way! Really?
No.
Oh.
I remember when he was getting started, I helped him out with a bunch of stuff, but he's learned. I think I taught him maybe 10, maybe 15% of some of the stuff that he knows. But yeah, he was just starting out. It's a thing that I posted on my website a long time ago. I've been programming for like 30 years. So I said, anybody who needs help programming, the worst thing is like knowing what something is called, how to Google it. Like that's a big difficult part of it. And then you'll hit these brick walls when you're younger as a programmer, and you'll just get stuck for a long time. And it's frustrating because you're not learning when you're stuck, right? So I said, just reach out to me. I stopped getting stuck like almost a decade ago. Like I don't even have to know anything about the platform, the language you're in. I can rip right through it. Very rarely do I ever have to give up.
How did you get into programming? Because that's not something I don't think you just like pick up on your own. There's like a friend.
I was 8. It was the 80s. We got a Nintendo. My older brother had a Commodore 64 that I wasn't allowed to touch. But he got a Nintendo, and he didn't care about the Commodore 64 anymore. And there were games on it that weren't too dissimilar from what was on Nintendo. As a matter of fact, I think John Carmack, like one of his first games, they made like a Mario-style game for the Commodore 64 that Nintendo passed on, so you could get it through shareware. Which is my first experience with Carmack. But anyway, as a kid, I didn't know how to load up the games, so I was looking for manuals to try to figure it out. And he had this one blue manual that said BASIC on it, and I was reading through it, and I thought you had to program the games in order to play them. And I was like,
you're joking me. So I 8 years old.
So I was playing with that. I figured out my mistake after a while. But then I wrote like a little loader that would load the games. It would tell you like, I've like color coded the disc, made my own like little catalog, and say, all right, go grab this. You just basically pick the game you wanted to play, because each one had loading parameters that were different. And it said, okay, put in this disc with this ID, and you put in that ID, and it would load the game. That was like my first little program I wrote. And then, just over many years, I just kept doing that. Then they had a CS program in high school, and they had a programming contest in high school. Like all those guys were first-year programmers. And at that point on the CS team, I'd already been doing it for 8 years. So I just like murdered everyone. I had 2 guys on my team that just sat there and watched. It was great. Just destroyed. Kept doing it. And it was just, at that time, there weren't a lot of people that could program, especially in the rural part of Texas I was in. The internet came about. Netscape 1 had been released, and so we were switching over to learning stuff about JavaScript and how to program stuff and how to do HTML, which it's a markup. It's not program. But anyway, we learned how to do web pages, and people were excited about that.
Maelstrom and Chronos Guard and VTS, are you guys also programmers?
Huh?
These guys are also programmers, VTS, Chronos Guard, Maelstrom. You guys actually were similar to that at a young age, at 8 years old, guys? Did you guys?
Yeah. So I remember here, because like I had an Atari 2600. Well, it was my granny's, but because at that time we couldn't afford one when that thing came out. But I remember that they had like a little cartridge that you could put into it that you could do programming on it, but we never had that.
Interesting.
But yeah, Netscape 1, we learned on that. And I remember one of the times, I think it was like 16 or 17, and I was at the restaurant with my parents. I don't remember what the context was because we never go to a restaurant. It might have been my birthday. I don't know. But I remember I have this focus issue where if I'm focusing on somebody, it's hard for me to hear what they're saying. I have to kind of like, it looks like if I'm paying, the way I'm paying attention to you is that I look distracted.
Ah,
It's the best way for me to hear you. So in restaurants, I can't hear my parents if I'm looking at them, but I can hear every other conversation happening in the restaurant. And there were these ladies at this table talking about IBM was going to charge them $100,000 to make their web page for their printing business. And I was like, and I thought that was a tragedy. So I excused myself from the table, went over to him and I was like, hey, introduce myself, credentials of the programming contest I won, how long I've been doing web design and what have you. And I was like, I can knock it out for a tenth that price. And I spent all that money on Magic the Gathering cards. Every last penny.
dude, that's epic, man.
Oh, man. That was fun. Well, what was really weird was at the time, like, there weren't, like, a lot of internet, places to host your web page that were easy to get a hold of, and Google wasn't really, like, a thing. So, in order to host it, I had to host it on their, like, local server, and they were using something called, like, i4 or ID4, which is, like, a weird Apple LAN OS that I'd never heard of. So, I had to, like, grab their books and figure out how this works. I was like one of the only people who knew how to network Windows machines together at the time, because that also was not public knowledge. We just had messed around with it till we figured it out.
I'm going to pop out the chat right now so I can actually put the chat right in front of me.
Why I had the ability to put a whole bunch of buttons in my desk that I can change colors on them, whatever I want, and I can press a button that does stuff like this.
What?
I mean, when you've been programming for 30 years, there's really not a lot that you're not able to do.
That's cheating, because I don't even know if that many people actually could pull that off.
It's fun.
You do
Well, what's really fun is that it used to be so hard. Oh, by the way, people hate when I talk about programming, so let's not stay on the topic too much. But it's not as hard as it used to be. It used to be such a pain. Like in BASIC, the guys who were trying it, it would just say syntax error, and there was no way to track a logic error. It was impossible. And it was still fun because you were a kid. You had nothing but time. As you got older, it got really annoying. JavaScript did the same thing. It would just say syntax error or just give you some kind of error, and you got like nothing.
Bananas, you got a question for you right there. It says, what set of Magic cards do you spend on?
This is way back in the day. So I played in like the alpha, beta, legends period. I played all the way through Revise, and then I quit playing right at the time Ice Age came out. We had this friend whose dad owned a local Chinese restaurant, and so every Friday he would clear out the buffet, and then we would play like with 8 people, play Magic the Gathering, and none of us were playing to win. We were playing to just see how long we could drag the game out until somebody got tired and killed everybody. Yeah, it was fun. And my favorite thing to do, especially with the money I'd spend on cards, is like I'd have like my librarian out so I could have as many cards as I wanted, have an Ication storehouse just storing up tons of mana. By the way, our mana counters we used were Pog, because we were playing Pog before Magic the Gathering.
Oh my God.
Pogs. We're stacking up the mana.
Do you know that I basically ruined Pogs for my entire community?
Shatterstorm, Armageddon, Wrath of God, just like clear the entire thing while I have like 40 cards in my hand and then just lay everything down. It was great. But my friend, they invited Jack, whose dad owned the Chinese restaurant. He was like a spoiled rich kid, so he had tons of money to buy what he wanted. But for whatever reason, he spent all of his money on blue cards, like the really low level blue cards, and all they do is just counter stuff. So anytime any of us would try to do some kind of fun, cool combo, he would just like counter, and it ruined the game for me. That's when I got out. I was like, well, that's no fun. And it wasn't until I got older that I started hearing more and more seasoned Magic the Gathering players talk about how much they hate blue deck players. And I was like, I'm not the only one. Thank you.
Can you tell me more about the blue deck versus other decks? Because I haven't been able to basically pick up Magic the Gathering.
A lot of counters is why. And people, when they play blue, that's mostly what they do, is just make it so you can't do anything.
Oh, got it. Okay, because I played like Yu-Gi-Oh! I played other games like Pokemon. Like those were the card games I got really into. And
yeah, that's the age difference.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to get into Magic Gathering, but
did you actually play Pokemon? Because most of the people I know just collected them, but they never.
I actually collected them and played them, and I also drew them a lot. And so
that's fun.
I think I did. I actually got the Pokemon cards to draw them first, and then all of a sudden my neighbor said, "Hey, you want to play?" I'm like, "Wait, we just have a drawing contest?" And it's like, "No, you can actually. There's a game with it." And I started learning that.
Now, I think I was a senior in high school when the cartoon came out, and I had 2 little brothers, so we did nothing but watch cartoons and Cartoon Network, stuff like that, especially Dragon Ball Z. But Pokemon we also watched, and I really enjoyed that show. Like, it's very emotional. Had these emotional moments that would really grab me. It was like, this is a kid's show. The show is awesome. and it wasn't until I got a little bit older that I realized how messed up it was. Like, Ash is terrible as a Pokemon trainer. He actually is not good.
He doesn't understand the Pokemon. Doesn't have basic notice.
You're supposed to hate Gary too, but you realize that guy's actually really good at what he does. Like, he's serious about being a Pokemon trainer, and Ash is just terrible. And then Ash only gets reject Pokemon because he can't capture his own because he's terrible. And then when he wins a badge, it's because basically the trainer felt sorry for him.
Yeah.
Right? So So it's the whole story is like a bunch of abandonment issues, really.
Well, they're
and
trying to make it
about just not being
relatable.
good
They're
enough.
trying to make it relatable
But
through
he's
what you
believing
see.
that one day I'm going to be the best, and you're just like, boy, you're a delusional. But I love you. I love you for trying.
Right.
And there was this one moment that really sold the show for me, and it was where they got separated on an island from some altercation with Team Rocket guys, and they had their two Pokemon from the Team Rocket guys, and they had all of his Pokemon that he had collected at the time. Like I think he had a Squirtle, Charmander, and Pikachu. I don't remember if he had Bulbasaur at the time, but those guys all had their abandonment issues. You remember their stories, and they were all just saying they left us, they abandoned us. They're doing it in their voices, but it's all subtitled. It's one of the few times you have subtitled actual feelings and thoughts from these things. And Pikachu stands up, he's like, "No, Ash, you would never do that to us." Blah blah. Like he was like really into it, and it is so hard for me to talk about the story without my eyes just hurting and me getting choked up on it. It's just so emotional. Maybe it's because I got abandonment issues. I don't know, but I found that very moving. And from that point on, every time I hear that song, it would give me chills. The theme song, like from that point on, it just made me emotional. And so, like, I went to college in like northern Louisiana, where it's just a hot swamp all day long. Like, open up the dryer after you've done clothes, and it just blows in your face, right? And you're dying. It's just like that all the time. The only difference between the sunlight and shade is that your skin doesn't boil in the shade, but it's still killing you, right?
Right.
So when I'm walking to classes, the way that I would cool myself down is I would just hear the song in my head. It's like, I want to be the very best. And like, as I'm hearing it, the skin just gets like these chills, I get these goosebumps, and I'm like, sweet, I'm cooling off.
No, you don't.
It was great.
That's an awesome way to basically cool off.
What about you, man? Now, did you watch the Pokemon thing, or you watched Yu-Gi-Oh?
I watched Pokemon. I watched Yu-Gi-Oh.
Cards.
I watch a ton. I'm like probably the definition of a weeb. I like
so
watch
if you played
so
you
much
said
anime.
you played the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, right? So did you take issue with the fact that all the cards that he would use to win were banned?
Yeah. This means he's cheating basically to a point where it's like
Did
he's
you ever watch Dragon
overpowered.
Ball Z Abridged?
I do it. Yes.
So
my buddy in here actually watched
where
a
he
lot
goes
of
up
it too.
against Cell, and Cell's like,
Oh
in the rules
my
that you
God.
gave me.
Oh my God.
It's great. He's like, the rules that you gave me, that's also banned. All God cards are banned. Come on. It was absolutely fantastic. That whole bit with Yu-Gi-Oh was so good. He like challenges him like, it's an ancient Egyptian card game, blah blah blah, and like he uses rambling kind of like nerd speak, and Cell's like, screw it, I'm down. Oh man,
I sat there trying to do the Yu-Gi-Oh cards where you basically pull the five pieces of the entire pyramid puzzle, and then basically gives you like all
you win the game.
I was trying
Which
that
is a total
every
anime
single
thing to
time.
do, but not a good game mechanic.
It's such a bad idea.
Just like
I
in
would be
Harry Potter, how they have like if you catch the golden snitch, then you get like 1,000,000 points and you win. I was like, it's cute for a story, terrible for a game. The nuclear steam cloud of death. That
What
is
did
the
they
South.
say?
It's not great.
They
It's,
make Pokemon relatable.
The whole state is there's whole regions of the South that are basically outdoor company saunas.
Oh, Chronos. If you didn't know the example of what Pokemon, I mean, of course, almost every single Japanese animation focuses on their own culture. Majority of the people in anime are similar to that mindset as far as what they're depicting. And so the idea of how, the parents don't really have any time for you because they're focusing on work so much. That is what it was back in the day. Maybe now it's less because now the children who have those issues now are not having children because of the entire cycle that they had to face. And animation manga was a good source to express themselves and a story that is not them specific, but they're able to create that style. That's why.
That. Yeah. Art's like that. And that's why it's important, especially when people talk about whenever this whole quarantine thing was happening, why art was important. I've never played real life Quidditch. I'm aware of it. I don't know if they have a golden snitch in real life Quidditch.
Do you know how to do the voice for Nappa?
I don't. It's not a voice that I do. I mean, I can like basically like fake it and be like,
I can't do it. I can't do it. But you see where like that's what I'm talking about. Just that he's just like, hey Vegeta. It's like, when he said that because you talked about a bridge. He just said that
bit they do where he's like, I am hilarious and you will quote everything I say. And it's like, it's true. It's true. It's a brilliant character.
You see what these people are saying right now in
just want
chat.
real life Quidditch. I'm aware of that. I don't know if they have a golden snitch, but if they did, I would like to see it played at a professional level where like a round one draft pick a wide receiver is the golden snitch. It's like, yeah, you try to catch a guy who can run 40 that fast.
Is there any plan for Mentis 2K6? He will quietly be quiet, probably the first player. Yeah, I don't mind basically bringing it up. The problem is I don't even know who Mentis 2K6 is. So if you guys don't mind to have him directly message me.
A million kills hasn't been done yet.
Yeah, so if he wants me to showcase him, I don't mind.
Affleck, how do you say that guy's name? I'd have thought he'd have done that.
Affleck is probably behind this guy. Mentis 2K6 is probably pushing more for the 1 million kills.
He's been grinding pretty hard, I guess.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind basically even being there for his last million if he wants me to see it actually hit 1 million, so I can show the counter and hang out with him to get him his million.
Be a person that would run around.
Yeah.
But I assume that the person that you have running around is like crazy fast.
Stalk it. Yeah,
but I would like to see it played at a professional level where the person running around is like, like I said, round 1 draft pick receiver.
Oh, I know. I'm not going to be able to physically follow him. I'm just going to observer cam that crap. If I stand next to that pro player, I'm going to look like
Yeah, but I love
it. Probably is. I don't think anyone else
I remember I was talking to some people on Reddit a while back when they were talking about Australian rules football. And I think the guy was from New Zealand, but he's a big fan. And he said he wanted to see Australian rules football go to the United States so he could see like pro players play it. And it was because they were commenting on this video where they had a guy who was like a world-class track athlete, like an Olympian. And they had him on their team and he was just unstoppable. Because they're just not used to playing with anybody that could run at that speed. And the guy was just making jokes, everybody. And he was like, see, this is why the USA needs to play Australian rules football so they could throw like real professional athletes from all over the world at it so I could see like real high-end sport. And like these people didn't have to be padded up. It seemed like the way the sport was played, that it was less prone to like, head trauma and stuff like that. So, and it was interesting to watch. I'm not even a big sports fan and I found it interesting. So I was like, this could work. This is a good idea. Rooting for the boys tomorrow. Now he's bringing this up. Is something happening tomorrow that I don't know about? Is that the Outfit Wars thing you were talking about? It's happening tomorrow. Is he talking about VCO is playing?
VCO is playing. VCO is right now in the match. Let me get a chance
they
to
already
see if
won, right? The first time.
They did not make gold.
Oh.
Give me a second. Let me find out. Alpha 2. This is the Miller's Emerald.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really a spectator.
VCO is currently right now gold rank versus AODR and SKL. And
I'll retweet it though.
That would be awesome. I'm going to be shoutcasting that as well. I'll be shoutcasting both Connery, Emerald. I'm talking to...
Yeah, I remember you sent me your schedule. It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, I have... like, for instance, Soltech starts at 4 a.m. 11 a.m. is going to be Miller and Cobalt. So I'm talking to Favor 1 if he's okay with taking Cobalt, but he hasn't responded to me yet. He wants Miller. But I also don't want to screw Cobalt over if they don't have a single caster. But people on Miller are asking me to cast it, and so that's why I'm trying to
organize the whole thing.
Yeah, and then because there's no freaking organization on that part other than
which ones are Kamikaze going to do? He does it too, doesn't he?
Kamikaze is doing Emerald and Connery. He might touch Soltech, he said on Twitter, but nobody's touching Cobalt, and so if nobody touches Cobalt, I might have to do it. But I'm not saying I don't want to do it. I did Cobalt last time, and now people want me to do Miller.
Cobalt used to be so good back in the day when we did server smashes. They were a force to be reckoned with. Up until the point that Farah started showing Miller that they could actually be really good. And then they started just wrecking things.
The deep voice guy is from DIG, and he just did his first time. He's his first stream. And that's freaking awesome, man. I'm happy for you, man.
Well done.
Deep voice guy. The deep voice. He's got his own personal deep voice. I've got a
we got to put deep voice guy up against Radlock.
Ooh, no, Radlock is a professional voice
I'll do
actor.
it. I used to my basic PooNanners voice was always very deep, and now it's hard for me to get there unless I'm
now it's freedom whiskey and eagles.
Or just fake it.
Yeah, the voice, but it's like you have to practice talking lower, and you're like.
That's what I'm talking about. Just said he's going to be back later at PooNanners. We should connect later with Arshee.
But you do the voice, it also completely changes my personality.
That's what I'm talking about. Just gave you a call out saying he's going to be back on later. PooNanners, we should connect with later with Arshee. Great to meet you.
Who's got to connect to what? I didn't see that.
Oh, he wants to connect with you later. Like basically just have a conversation with us later.
Deep voice guy?
No, that's what I'm talking about. That's one of my moderators.
Oh, there it is. He said there. Okay, I had to scroll up to see it.
Yeah.
Pooh, do the eagle. I don't have the. I mean,
you don't have the eagle thing.
You the sound system.
How could you not have that set up by now?
I need to plug it in. I was gonna try to play tonight. It's because I redid everything so we could do Bastion Smash, and so I basically have to undo some things in order to do Planetside 2.
Did you see what Judica just said? Look what Judica said. I'll let you read it. Judica.
I'm not seeing it.
It's right below it. That's what I'm talking about. Is it so PooNanners?
You're gonna smack that lad down if he starts rooting against us again. Which lad? Is he talking about?
He's talking about me because like when I came in, I was watching the gold ring match, and then I come into silver with like probably 20 seconds to spare. So I didn't know the score. I just see first place VCO, second place SKL, 10 points remaining. Like really close to Nick and Nick. So first thing I do is thinking, I want this match to be super epic. And I'm like screaming at SKL, you got 20 seconds remaining. They're about to win. VCO's about to win. Move your asses. Yeah, and everybody 100%. Thought that I was an SKL fan because of that. And I shouldn't do that as a commentator. That's my fault. I don't really, it's really funny. I don't really fanboy out on sides on really anything when it's a spectator kind of deal. I like the person who is obviously not going to win. I like unexpected things to happen. I do too, but really into that. I'm going to ask you a question because you're a professional caster. Can you tell me more about that real quick? Yeah, you mean just the process of it, or who do I root for? It's like you've gone all around the world. I heard. You told me like we have to build drama. I remember having a developer actually yell at me. Not yell at me, but he complained because I wasn't building sufficient drama for a game he wasn't a developer for. Like we were doing, I mean, we were doing his game later that day, but at the time we were doing Unspoken, and everyone associated with Unspoken for this match, we knew who was going to win. It was number 1 seed against number 8 seed. Like it was foregone conclusion. And I tried to build some drama going into it, but it was obviously that kid was outmatched, right? And so we were just trying to keep people interested when it went through. And he's like, "Oh, you're supposed to build drama, and like so people don't know who's going to win." It's like, "Oh, dude, people knew from like the first 5 minutes." Like they also don't want me to lie to them, right? I'm not going to do that. There's a lot of times where, as a commentator, you do enough of these matches, you know who's going to win. You've got a pretty good idea. And there's sometimes where you know who's going to win, but you have hope that the underdog actually has a chance to win. You've seen them perform well. You've seen them beat people out before. You know that if the cards fall right, they can win. The only problem is that when it's a competition, especially it's one where they flew you to another country across the world, and there's a bunch of money on the line, that the nerves are going to hit you really hard, which it wasn't until I actually competed in one of those types of events that I realized like how bad the nerves get you. Like I'd always commentated on it, but it wasn't until I actually felt it that I'm like, oh, that is unpleasant. But yeah, I did. So you did a tournament where you've got. I originally did some commentary with PSB back in the day doing the service matches, and we did the world record smash and what have you. Got a taste for it, and then I had some small groups pull me into Rocket League, and then I got really headlong into VR, and this game called Echo Arena came out, which we play Echo Arena. You actually say, hey, this is basically just Quidditch, but with discs and jetpacks. Anyway, and then that group pulled me into doing commentary for their world events we're going to do with Intel and Oculus and ESL. And they were also doing with Unspoken and a few other games they're adding here and there across seasons. So just been doing that. And then I built a production company for us to help other developers put on their own events. And it's been fun. That's awesome. And so my question is, if you actually had players where you're watching two going neck to neck, how do you comment on that? Where you know that the first place guy is in first, but second place is coming in. I build that drama. Yeah. If he's coming in, I'm rooting for the guy who's going to win. I mean, I'm rooting for the guy. It sounds like I'm actively rooting for the guy who is behind. That's what 100%. I'm doing. That's why when he said, "Are you gonna like smack him down?" I was like, "No, that's the thing to do." Yeah. Because the biggest thing that I like to do is to create intensity for everyone watching. Yeah. Because if I just say like it looks like second place is about to arrive to first place, the first place team people that will complain about that is right now in VCO. Because they just don't want to hear you say anything positive about the other team, and they don't want to hear you say anything negative about their team. Which it's hard. I don't even know what to do, but other than like I just like to hype the crap out of all of you. Yeah. So the people in first place. The majority of people prefer the hype, but they're just not going to come to you later and tell you, hey, I liked the hype. They're just happy. It's the handful of people that don't, like I said, they don't want to hear anything negative about their team, and they don't want to hear anything positive about the other team, that they'll weigh things weirdly in their mind and decide that you're biased, and then they'll just like come at you. And like I said, it's a very small percentage, but the larger percentage, they are not even going to say anything. So it's just, you're entertaining correctly. If the small percentage that get upset, if you commentated the way that they claim that they want you to commentate, you'd be very dry and boring, like a golf match. It was like, oh, and that was a bad miss. That's the thing that I hated that in baseball. In baseball, I literally was killing myself just to watch it. You had to watch the TV, but turn on the radio commentators. The radio commentators are way better. Yeah. And that's the thing. I never got into baseball because of those commentators. And then finally, a friend of mine somehow brought intensity because he knows me very well. He's like, watch this baseball anime. I was like, yeah. How is baseball anime going to do anything? So finally I watched baseball anime. They freaking show me the signs. They show me how they steal. They show the intensity. The guys are basically pitching it. The ball's like flaming. I'm like, yeah. Okay, this Japanese is pretty legit. Baseball. And so then I see that. I go back to baseball and I'm like, I just saw the coach do something very subtle. It reminded me of anime. I'm like, oh crap, this is actually legit. And I started liking baseball because they gave it to me
a
that
sport
fashion.
that isn't very visually jarring or that you don't understand it, it can be very easy to look at it and view it as boring. And we talk about this a lot in esports circles, like esports commentator circles, about which games we think have great visual quality or reachable from people. Like the audiences don't have to be people who play the game. And one the games that we call unwatchable, for example, one of those games is Overwatch. You have it's a beautiful game, but in spectator form, there's a lot going on, and you have no idea what's happening unless you play the game, right? It is intensely popular because the game is popular, so the esport does well. But it's one of those things where we say it's unwatchable, and almost all of us universally agree the most watchable and reachable esport for audience-wise is Rocket League. Visually, you immediately know what's going on.
Well, I mean, the only reason behind it is because we've all been trained to watch sports like that. It's just soccer, and it's very relatable.
Well, I think it's also big cars jumping through the air doing it, and then they explode.
Oh, yeah.
It's got very few rules. The only thing you don't understand is how complex and difficult it is to like juggle a ball in the air while you're flying through the air. Like you don't. It still looks great.
Yeah.
But it's not till you play the game that you're like, that's a very hard skill to gain.
Yeah. I think I would look like.
What happened to the hair? What do you think happened, Dark?
Wait, the hair. Is it gone?
He's asking what happened to the hair because like normally my hair is all like great, and I was like, what do you think happened?
No, go back to this.
It's not like we've
you
been
had this
sitting in
earlier.
a quarantine for like 6 years.
Go back to this. You had it earlier like that. It was like
well,
perfect.
I was just pulling it down.
That was spot on.
Here, but it's like I can't do anything with it.
No, he had this. Go back to this. Go back to that. That was legit. There it is. Yes, you're done.
That's my flock of
Done,
seagulls
dude.
here.
Done.
There's
Look at
another
that.
old reference for you.
Represent.
I
It's
got
just
so
coming
much
out
hair
of
taking my nose itch.
emote. Listen, guys, I can't do anything about this hair. It's too damn long.
That's actually what I was telling him earlier. I had
Shenanigans
actually kind of
confirmed.
I had brushed it all over my head, so it's like full emo, and I was like, I'm trying to do Arshee's little swoop he's got.
But yeah, don't worry,
Yeah,
man. It's PooNanners's had it longer than
have-
me. I just basically pushed it here. He's already
I
had
have
that.
been doing the highlights thing for my hair for some time. I had quit doing it, and then my wife told me to go back to doing it because she preferred my hair that way, so I just kept doing it.
Very cool.
But like now I've got like, this much grown out. And it's only going to be, you're right. I do need to do some guy liner 100%. I'd actually look a lot better, especially when I do my Vegeta cosplay. I'd look better with it.
Oh yeah.
But I just don't know that I have the steady hands and calmness to put something that close to my eye. Someone else would have to do it. Like whenever I do like esports stuff, like we always have like a makeup girl doing our hair and stuff like that. So
Oh yeah. Tell me
that.
about.
I can let anybody put any amount of makeup on me, but I don't trust myself to cut my own hair or do my own makeup.
When you go
It
to
took me
esports
forever to learn how to
events
even do my
as a
own hair.
caster, do you have to? What do you bring to the table when you do that, other than just the casting? What is the process? Like you have to basically show up with your microphone. Do you have to show up with any products other than your clothes that you're wearing? You're
talking about like when you're doing like a big LAN event or a big like a production event?
Because
the suit.
not your studio right now, but like when you physically go.
Yeah, just bring your suit. That's all you gotta bring. Some guys will bring iPad or a Surface or something to take notes on. The thing is, they'll usually provide you some kind of note anyway, and you have enough information and feedback. If your memory's halfway good, you won't need all that other stuff.
Makes sense.
Really just depends. But all that you're required to bring is your suit and tie and yourself.
Okay.
And
That's nice
make sure you had a haircut beforehand or something like that. And then they do the makeup. They'll like your hair. You want to make sure you have your hair done in the morning. And they'll like just spray it down, and the makeup lady will make sure that your hair will not freaking move. And then you just you come and do your thing. They have catering, they have everything else that you need there, so you don't have to do anything. Me, whenever I did the events, because we were doing it as VR esports, the technology is wildly complicated, and there's a lot that can go wrong. And a lot of those guys out there did not know what they were doing. So, in order to make sure that the event that I'm part of and that I'm the face of did not become a massive crap fest, I would go around and make sure that all the USB settings and power mode settings and everything were all set up correctly on the machines, and would test them out and make sure track and everything like that worked. I was not paid to do that. I did that just for my own sanity. And I remember some of the other casters did not like the attention I was getting, so they went through a lot of effort to politically push me out of that group in season 3.
Interesting.
And season 3 bombed technically so hard. They didn't realize how much I was doing behind the scenes. It was funny.
So, yeah, how did that even work? If you actually had that much production on season 1 and 2, that means they had enough push from the boss to push you out?
Well, no, what it was is in groups like that, you have a person who's in charge of just getting the talent and signing them up for stuff. Right?
Okay, and so they had connections to the talent then.
What ESL would do is that they would have some of the commentators would make friends with whoever that guy was, right? So they'd have his ear. They'd play politics essentially, and so they would by making friends with that guy or other guys that were going to get producers or be assigned to other bigger projects later on, then they would pull you in to cast for it. Like this particular guy who was pushing me out, he ended up getting on like Overwatch stuff pretty quickly. But the guy, all he does as a commentator is just make fun of his co-commentator. He doesn't really know the game. He's kind of like just a jerk the whole time. But he keeps getting work because he's friends with the people who give work out. Yeah, ESL is very nepotistic that way, unfortunately. They don't go for actual...
It feels the same thing in almost every scene I've been a part of right now. Like, cause,
that is also true. In entertainment, this is incredibly common.
Yeah, because I went
one of the reasons why I try not to do it. Or you build your own platform and then you don't have to worry about it.
I went to Hollywood when I was basically a kid trying to do acting, and I got completely burnt out on the idea that everyone's lying to me. They're saying like, you're really good.
It's who
so do this.
It's got nothing to do with talent. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
you got to make friends with the right people. Yeah. Or in the age of the internet, you just build your own platform and then you don't have to worry about it.
Makes sense.
And you're good. It can be disheartening, but like if you're an entertaining person, especially on a platform where there's not a lot of barriers to entry, you can do that. It's one of the reasons why I built the production company, because they don't have to worry about it and let them just fail, because that's the problem, is that when you go nepotistic and you're just hiring your friends or people who are cool to you and not people who are actually good at the job, the thing will fail on its own. You don't have to do it. You can let that person just fail on their own. And that's what I did. I just let them fail and just sat there and just like, hey, I'll come in and save the day when you guys are ready.
PooNanners, do you want to try raising up your voice? Somebody says this.
I can talk a little bit louder.
Yeah,
maybe I could go doubles.
Is it my volume that needs to be louder, or is it PooNanners that needs to be louder, guys?
Maybe I just need to speak up a bit. They're used to me doing PooNanners style.
Arshee, you gonna kiss Alpha Wars again? And if so, which one? Yes, 420T. I'm doing 4 Alpha Wars. I can't do the 5th one because Cobalt and Miller are together at the same time. I'm asking Faber 1 to handle Cobalt if he's okay with it, or I'm going to find out who's handling Cobalt so I can actually do Miller, because I did Cobalt last time. People are asking me to do Miller this time, and so that's the only solution I got, is if somebody I know is doing it and I'm happy about it. But if I don't know anybody's doing Cobalt, I'm not going to leave them hanging. That's something not my code. I can't handle it.
So Code Wolfie?
Oh, Valkyrie Code.
Mom? How old is your mom? And I'll give you somebody. I'll give you a really funny answer. I just need an age range. Do it. Tell me. Because I wouldn't even say a famous person, because that'd be too obvious. I would say a famous person's kids. Okay. Tell her they're Lowell and Hardy's kids. No, Lowell and Harvey? No, I gotta be one. I'm trying to figure out how far back in the past I need to go. Man.
Do you guys?
Tell her.
I think they're talking about the music.
Tell them Arshee's Bob Denver's kid.
No, don't do that. Did you guys want the music? Are you talking about that one? Because this is the music. I turned the music off.
Matt Damon's too recent for 54, so definitely Bob Denver I think would work. I'm trying to think of some of the other old actor names. I've gotten so old I can't remember stuff anymore.
It's only when I talk there's some noise. Oh, it's because I have the AC on.
Just say God, what's her name? The lady from Bewitched. Just look up whoever the actress was on Bewitched and just say, how's her son?
Now it's better. Now you won't hear any noise anymore when I talk.
My dad was the voice of Mr. Ed, the horse. Wow, sucks you guys had this too. I was in a talent show for my area. Not Britain Got Talent, but I got to the finals, but the winner was actually someone that performed with the head judge. Yeah.
The Giacomo, you're right.
It's all about who you know. So you know.
It's,
most of those contests are like that too. Like if you get into a contest where it is an entertainment type thing or it's a subjective thing, it can be a lot about who you know. I've been doing cosplay for a long time. You've done cosplay for a long time. You know how what level you can do something to. And if for whatever reason you're feeling, what's the word, like causing yourself some misery, show up to a costume contest where no one's going to be playing it at your level and you won't win. And the reason you won't win is because that person's friends with whoever's judging something. It's not a real contest. It never is.
No. The only way they basically identify a real contest, no matter how talented you are, if the people don't like you, you're not getting gold medal.
There's that too. Likability is a huge thing. That's why I stopped trying to say smart stuff in any kind of entertainment thing that I do, because I'm a nerd and I developed that voice that when I say nerdy stuff, I sound super condescending and it just drives people up a wall. So I can't say smart things. That's why the PooNanners character is incredibly dumb. That's the whole reason. People like my excitement energy as long as I'm not saying smart things. So I'm like, cool. I do whatever it takes to make people happy because in the end, this is why you get in entertainment because you like making people happy.
Right.
And
And
people smile back
I
at
mean,
you,
like
hearing
you
people be
literally
happy.
said it spot on.
Every time I hear an "I love you, man," I was like, validation. I feel loved. Take that, mom.
Oh man.
Oh.
Why did your mom do that?
Why did she do what?
Why did she not say I love you?
Oh well, I think she probably did.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
I never. It wasn't. I remember at her funeral, my sisters all like talked about that or how she didn't hug them or something. I think she did, but my mom was just an angry person. You know, like some people, they just get kind of like. I think she was spoiled probably by her dad, but you know, some people like they only really care about what they want and they don't really have a lot of empathy or emotion for other people. A lot of my siblings think that she was probably a sociopath. This is probably why she was that way. So. Not really their fault. I mean, I think like modern science has proven that it's actually just a defect in the brain. So it's not like they do it on purpose.
I mean, I haven't met that many sociopaths yet, so I can't completely agree or disagree because I know a lot of people. But the hardest thing
I understand it is just you're not capable of empathy.
Empathy, yeah.
I know if you know how like a 2-year-old or 3-year-old is, like they don't have empathy at that age. They can be altruistic, like they can share, but they can't inside their head try to feel it from your point of view, right? And you have to teach them how to do that. And that's why little kids, as Donald Glover has said, you know, little toddlers are basically little Hitlers. Like they can be really, really awful to each other. And what's really funny is we see this with dogs and animals too, that you can teach them to be good and train them to be good. But then when they hit puberty, it's like they have to relearn it. And that's one of the reasons why, like when kids hit puberty in middle school, that they just are monsters to each other. Because they have to like relearn empathy now that they have a whole new set of emotions and hormones to deal with. Yeah, it's awful. It's just part of the change. You do it with your dog. The easiest way to stop it with your dog is like as soon as they're about to hit puberty, like all right, snip, snip, and then they're like right back to. They're not peeing on the carpet, being a jerk. But you leave them on though.
It's the hormones that kicks in. You just don't. They have no way of controlling it. If you don't supplement those hormones, then they're just going to start acting out.
Yeah, but if you have a brain defect where you can't actually learn empathy, then what are you going to do? Like me, I think it's from head trauma, but I have like a brain defect that affects social processing. So like most people like immediately explains why teenagers are a little, well, you know what's really funny at first, they can learn their way out of it if they put in the effort. Some don't, you know, some adults don't.
Some people don't have the tools too. That's the biggest problem.
Well, or generally what it is you need feedback from somebody that you trust. They're just like, all right, you're acting crazy now, stop it. But me, I have like some brain damage that affects my ability to do social processing. So I found out from therapy that most people have like this natural innate understanding that somebody is upset with them just by looking at their face or their tone of voice, that someone is mad at them or what have you. I can't tell. Like it's not you're swinging at me or really trying to do something that I know. Sarcasm has to be like super thick for me to pick up on it. Now I'm like 40 now. So I've put a lot of effort into trying to figure stuff out, but it's like, for example, in school, I've never had to study. I pulled the cellophane off of 2 books in college, and I graduated top of my class, summa cum laude. Like, I'm really smart with academic stuff. But for social stuff, I have to put in as much effort and study as much as regular people do with academic stuff. Like, I put all this effort to try to understand. And I found that the rules around social stuff is not too much different than the rules around the English language, where somebody says there's this rule, but this rule has so many exceptions that it's barely a rule. And so trying to understand in what cases it actually matters, it can be very confusing for me, very difficult. So I find little gimmicks of things to deal with. One of the early gimmicks I had as a kid is that I would just mimic the tone and the language of the person across from me. The problem is if that person was having a bad day and they were already coming at me all angry pants, that's how I talked to them because I assumed that was what was appropriate. And then they'd be all mad like I was the bad guy. And somebody had to explain to me, like, why were you being a jerk? And it's like, I was just doing what they were doing. Is that not right? Yeah, right. So that's a knee-jerk reaction I have is to mimic what's around me. And so like the PooNanners character, instead I'm walled off from other people's like emotional states. I try to be anyway. And I just do that character, and that character is all just happy, fun, freedom, explosions, playing a video game, and that's it. And so I try not to let the negativity affect me. Like somebody will like get tired of hearing me and they'll like shoot me in the face.
Right.
And I'll just keep talking because I was like, I'm not about the KD.
I'm literally doing the same thing with ArsheeTV, the actual ArsheeTV personality. I like have this button, everything, you know that button. And that's the one that basically turns on all the energy and the intensity and like the shoutcasting aspect of me. But they don't know this side of me that we're talking right now.
My key phrase that would always get me there, and it's really funny, people would think it's the eagle scream, but it's not. But mine is literally just saying, Are you ready? What did he say?
The button.
The e-girl thing or the button?
The button.
Oh, the button. He calls it the button.
Oh, no. What the hell?
Press the button.
What?
It's fun to press.
No, it is. It's extremely fun, especially when you're in this room by yourself and there's like, you haven't had any social contact with your friends. You're doing quarantine, I guess, the best of your ability. I just go eat,
you gotta
sleep,
get in VR
rinse,
chat. You get in
repeat.
VR chat to get your socials in?
No, not that. That's, oh my
Not on
God.
stream.
VR
No,
chat.
never do VR chat.
Oh
live on
my
stream.
God. The first time I joined VR chat, that it was like less than 10 seconds. It was, I'm in there. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? Oh my God. Oh my. And they all heads turn. Literally, all heads turn. They stare at me, and I'm like,
get a reaction out of you. They are all like super into you.
And
Best
I
thing in
start
VR
running.
is the first time someone rushes you.
I'm just
Like someone just runs straight at your face.
It's this,
Oh, man.
it's the most biggest heart pounding experience for me, man. I'm like, oh, I'm like running as fast as I can.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love weird people. I love people that are willing to just be who they are. I'm not a fan of people that keep trying to find what your weakness is. Like they're just trying to figure out how to upset you.
Oh.
When it's become obvious that you're willing to be their friend, you want to make them feel valued.
Can I
and
tell you why they do
still
that?
doing it, and they're not getting it. It's like, this is getting exhausting.
Can I tell you why they're doing that?
Huh?
Can I tell you why they're doing that?
Why?
The biggest reason I found from even the Planetside 2 community is because they want to believe I'm not real. They're trying to identify that this person probably behind the scenes.
Looking for authenticity, you think?
Yeah, and they just want to know what is my intentions? Why is he doing that much work? Why is he putting in? I would never do that. My friends have never done that. Why is this guy doing it? What is his prerogative?
Got to become a skydiver, you know.
Yeah, and
Everybody's
so
got a thing they want to do.
that's why I spend as much time as I need off stream with these individuals, and I talk to them like this is the way I talk to them. If I talk to them this way, I'm like,
That's why I always say
it looks like we're having a one-on-one conversation, PooNanners. I'm not gonna do that.
I've got an echoey voice too.
I know, do
I
it.
don't remember which one it is though.
No,
Is it this one? Yeah,
there it is.
you go.
Do it. Do the PooNanners scream like this. Get everybody in the actual A point. Has it been like? What was the last time you did that?
That echoey voice is not the PooNanners voice. Usually PooNanners voice is this one or the echo, where I'm just like,
Show me.
It's like, all right, who wants the freedom? Maelstrom wants an ego. Then let's rock and roll.
There it is.
What it's all about.
Stuff like that.
There it is. It's like, where's my eagle? Yes, off.
You know what's really funny? I actually researched this. I tried really hard to make this. I wanted to make an animation where it was like a flaming eagle coming at the screen, and that I would put the eagle screech sound over it and make it one of my buttons. And I've scoured the internet and I can't find like a flaming eagle just flying at the screen.
I can find one right now.
We'll do it later.
Oh, sorry.
But
I
yeah,
was like,
I
I
need
was
a
ready
flaming
to
eagle.
go.
I need a flaming eagle button, is what I'm telling you.
Yeah, I could find that for you. That's not hard. It'll take a little bit of digging, but
This isn't that hard, but I've looked. I found
well,
some
the one I'm talking
found some
about
birds.
requires it to be transparent. If I can find a transparent one in the middle of the game, then you're good.
Yeah. That's the thing is I need the transparent background. That's the hard part because I need it to be able to fly over the screen, but you can still see everything behind.
So then
But
I
yeah,
would change it up to where just find the damn bird that's transparent and then put flame on it, and then you're good to go.
Yeah. Put in After Effects
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't touch the After Effects.
Oh,
I have
yeah,
a production
once-
crew
yeah.
that's their job.
Lucky for
I
you.
stay away from After Effects. It's one of those things where like I went to the effort to learn.
Oh yeah, there you go. He's just search
Photoshop
Phoenix,
and
not
Illustrator
the
and a
eagle.
bunch of
Flame
stuff.
eagle. Just search Phoenix. That could be it.
Yeah. Just search Phoenix. Good enough. Well, I mean, it needs transparent background. When it comes to production, there are little caveats when you're looking for stuff that you're not really considering. Like just when Arshee was trying to figure out the background for this, like one of the caveats is that it needs to be looped. It's one of those things you just don't consider, when you're looking for stuff. You're like, oh, just like trees in the background. It's like, no, it needs to be looped. Which severely decreases what you can find.
So I have a question
Especially,
for chat, and I have also a
like
question for you, PooNanners.
What?
Have you always heard of Trainwrecks TV or any of these other streamers out there that have done similar podcasts that we're doing right now? That have
No,
instead of just
I'm not. It's really funny. I'm not really. I think I mentioned this to you before. I'm not really a Twitch guy. I'm not really a podcast guy. Like I rarely listen to a podcast all the way through because it's just too long. I've got too much to do. If somebody says something cool happened on Joe Rogan, I'll probably watch that because he's from my generation of comedians. So I think he's hilarious, and a lot of his friends I like. And I like their conversation on comedy because, like, as somebody whose social button is broken, I like that. It seems like comedy to them is them breaking down all the weird social rules and figuring out how to manipulate them in order to get people to laugh. And I think that that's to somebody who is really inept on the social side of stuff, I find that incredibly intriguing. That people are like figuring out the math involved for social stuff. I've only figured out a few things, usually accidentally. So, but yeah, so I don't normally do that. I really do like Midnight Gospel. I don't know how many people have watched that on Netflix, but that's I'm trying to think of his name. Duncan Trussell. Duncan Trussell had a podcast called Duncan Trussell's Family Hour. Never watched it before. He's a comedian that I do enjoy though. And they would have like these deep conversations generally about the experiences you have while in psychedelics, which is always fun conversation. And a lot of those things can help you realize that you're kind of stuck in your own world and you're worried about things that don't matter, and that what matters is that we're all in this together. And what really matters is helping each other out, making each other happy.
Right.
Which is why the PooNanners character, the entire thing is like, I just want to make everyone happy.
Right.
Because I feel like it's better than making everyone feel sad. Like, why would you want to do that? I mean, I get why you want to do that because you're sad too, but it's not helpful. Don't do it. If you can't help it, if you need someone to talk to, reach out.
That's one of the things I don't think
but his
many
whole thing is
people
where they
do.
took bits from his podcast and worked with the creator of Adventure Time and Titmouse Animation Studios, and they made this just beautiful concept where.
Did you just freeze? I think PooNanners just froze. Or am I frozen? Is my stream ending? Guys, can you guys see me? Uh-oh. PooNanners is frozen. Let me disconnect and actually recall him back. 1 second, guys. I'm still up. I'm still good. But PooNanners, look at his face right there. He's just like, power blinked, coming back. Sounds good. No problem. Anyways, long story short. I'm going to read what Giacomo said. I have actually went to TwitchCon 2019 down in San Diego. And the sad truth is that when I went down there, nobody was talking to each other unless that they knew each other prior to TwitchCon. And everyone who was in Twitch literally just went right through each other. And at the convention center, it was like everyone's making lines for things, and you just never see group gatherings. The only time they did a group gathering was when it was scheduled at 6 p.m. to do a conference with the medium tier streamers that are going to have a podium to talk. And they were only focused on them. They weren't focused with each other. No streamer that's sitting next to each other actually said, "Hey, how's it going?" I was paying attention and observing that behavior, and I think it's that behavior almost in every convention center, similar to that behavior. And I thought TwitchCon would be different because we're all streamers. We all have something in common. We all can ask about what we do, and it was interesting.
You like that, right?
Hey, what's up, buddy? You're back. I was talking about my experience at TwitchCon and how literally I did not have an opportunity to see people talking and I can join them. So I had to create my own talking points. I had to grab people. I literally saw someone with a t-shirt that I recognized. I grabbed him. I literally just said, "Get over here." And I just basically grabbed the rope around his chest and pulled him back in. But yeah, I creeped a lot of people out at TwitchCon because they weren't expecting someone to be so forward in talking and just creating conversation, interested in them. And so that's something that I'm interested in to identify why that's the case. I think Speedbird is probably spot on about anxiety. I went through TwitchCon, and this is the evidence I have. I can have Ewog tell you or anybody else. They all thought I was a large streamer. They thought I had a huge amount of followings. And I said, no, not even close. This is my business card that I made for TwitchCon to share with other people. A little dust on it. I will have to flip my camera, I think. This is the business card. Can you guys see that? Is it flipped or is it not flipped for you guys? Can you guys see that correctly? It's flipped, right? So you can't see it. How do I unflip it on Discord? Oh, it's not Discord that needs to be flipped. I need to unflip it here. Transform. There you are, buddy. I can see you, PooNanners.
Yeah. Had to do a few things. Yeah.
There we go.
Power blinked out like I thought it would. I heard the storm rolling through, and I was like, power's going to blink, and nothing in my studio has a UPS.
Now, a lot of you guys are probably wondering, like, hey, Arshee just flipped
on my
again.
Internet, what have you, but not the studio, because it's too much power. So I'd have to get a tower, or that rack that I have that has all of my studio equipment. I need a rack just for UPSs to keep this thing online for 15 minutes.
Oof.
Yeah,
You have a generator, right?
No, I do not have a generator. It's just a power blink. That's all it did.
Okay. Because the generators, I know in the East Coast, a lot of people have generators that basically hold on to that power until it comes back on. but it's
Yeah.
like probably
I almost got one of those gas generators, but
Yes.
all the people that I contacted were basically wanting to rip me off because I knew how much the
how
generators
much are
cost
you
for Home
buying
Depot.
it for? Because
I
they're
knew it
about
cost to install them,
4,000.
and they were just being total rip-off shows about it.
I was just
All right,
showing. I was
so-
talking about my TwitchCon experience. I was going to show them the business card example. So like, I would
business card,
basically, I'd show people this business card. Is it flipped now? Is that correct?
I can see it, yeah.
Okay, so then this is basically what I would show them because there were a lot of people, PooNanners, were thinking that I was a big streamer because nobody would be talking to each other. So I'd grab a bunch of people and we'd be in a group now of like 10, 20 streamers that are mid-tier, high-tier, whatever tier. I didn't care. I just wanted to socialize with
friends,
people. And
Yeah, you gotta
I'd
make
give them my
friends.
business card here and they would see it said 19 followers. And I went there. And then I have
Yeah,
like
that was a long time ago, huh?
a negative 20... A negative 20 luck symbol that represent like how unlucky I am and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Total views was that, and then you can see the friends like 2. So what I would do with this card is I would show the +2 symbol, like +1 friend, because I have one friend standing next to me, which is Ewag, and this card right now would be like, hey, would you like to be friends? And that person would be like, sure, at the end of our conversation at least, right? I'd be like, oh my god, yes. I'd look at Ewag, I'd be like, oh my god, look at this right now. I have a +1. I can upgrade my card now, so we get the extra additional card, and I'd be like, look, it's 2 friends now. And then he would see the
really?
2
Nice.
sign, and then he'd be
Smart.
laughing
That
his
makes you
ass
much
off.
more memorable.
And he just starts laughing.
Let me show you my
super hard.
low-effort cards.
Let me check out your card. But yeah, that was my way to get people to laugh their asses off. That I literally, how many cards I make? I had one card that said 1 friend, and then all the other cards I got were like 500 cards of that specific card. So I still probably have about 100 or 200 of these cards. Once these cards are all completely gone, then I'm going to make the newest card with the existing followership, with the existing viewership, all those numbers that you saw on that thing. I'm going to update it. Oh, what the is that transparent?
No, it's plastic, like a credit card.
Oh, that looks awesome.
They were useful because a lot of the European rooms that we stayed at, you had to put your key card in this thing when you walked in the door to keep the power on in the room.
Oh
So
my
you could just use
god,
this
that's
and never
so
have to stick your card in there,
smart.
so the AC would be on when you were gone.
That's awesome. I love it. That's on your Twitter page? You have all that?
Yeah. It's some cartoons that my brother, who's an animator, he made them for me a while back, a long time ago before he got famous.
Oh, before he got famous, I like that you said that.
Yeah. Before he got his show on Cartoon Network, like I told you, like how we used to, me and my little brothers would watch cartoons, and my youngest brother, he would draw all the time, and he's like, I'm gonna have a cartoon on Cartoon Network one day. Like he was obsessed with it, and he worked at like Titmouse, did a bunch of Adult Swim stuff, and now he worked at Cartoon Network doing storyboard stuff, and now he has his own show on Cartoon Network.
So I'm showing
Well, last I checked,
your Twitter account right now. All the chops, all the balls, all the beans, PooNanners.com.
Yeah, that's all Parker's comedy. That was his. He wrote all that stuff and put all those little guys on that thing. I just got him to give me he did them in Flash, and I was like, just give me the Flash export and I'll put them as vectors and I'll use them for branding. So that's one less thing I got to do.
Awesome.
It's-
And you're the
it's very
founder
helpful.
of V Respawn, the voice of
Yeah.
VR esports, leading of VR esports consultant, host, commentator, and producer.
Yeah.
Love to know more about that.
A lot of work.
Tell me about the work you're talking about. Like, is this
Well, when we produce shows for like VR esports, so esports is anybody who tries to do it can know that it can be difficult. There's a lot of moving parts, but with VR, like I said, because the technology, especially if you're doing mixed reality for your VR event, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of high-end technology, and a lot that can go wrong. So it's very difficult. So if you try to apply regular esports knowledge to throwing an event like that, or regular production knowledge, you're just going to fall flat on your face, like hard. And so we do that. You're laughing because he's asking about why your camera's so deep. Flipped? What's going on?
I just flipped the camera, and he's like, "No, I hate this." The reason why I have it flipped, guys, because when you're streaming, you don't have to do this, but I am super picky about it, and I think it makes more sense to do it this way. I have PooNanners. My second monitor is flipped, so it's horizontal, and I have PooNanners and I on the left. And so if he's physically positioned on the left, I like to look at PooNanners while talking to make it look like we're actually having a human contact conversation. Because I have him here. Now, if I was going to flip
You did a good job
the
of
whole
that during
thing,
our Bastion Smash stream, that you knew which way to look to make it look.
dude,
like
do you know how much that killed me, Dale? Because you put me on the opposite side, and then so I was like looking at nothing. I was like,
Did you not notice that I also was looking at nothing? I don't have any
I mean,
monitors
I
over
wish
there.
I had a monitor position there. I had the monitor here, but I had to turn
the
and
thing
look
is
at this, and there was nothing there.
You don't
I was
have
like,
to look all the time. It's just one of those. It's like it's an immersion trick Like you're basically just like look occasionally like you would during a regular cast, and then people are just like, wait, they're not in the same room? And I was like, oh, I thought that was obvious, but okay. I'll take what I can get.
Thank you so much, Wings02, for the host, buddy. It's good to see you, man.
Oh, what is the time? We should check that real quick. Okay, so we got an hour.
Yeah.
Remember to pick up my little baby girl.
I'm gonna put a 30-minute timer on my watch, and when that goes off, we know we have 30 minutes remaining.
Yeah. So, one of the things that we always get to talking about that I like to have fun is less interviewee type stuff, but it's more talking about like how.
Let's confuse Valkyrie's mom, because I don't think her mom knows that we're live, and then Valkyrie's mom can actually see that we can actually wave at her and talk to her.
Hi, Valkyrie's mom.
Valkyrie's coach, Wolfie's mom. How you doing? Oh yeah, we're building the shower. The deep voice guy has also hosted me. Thank you so much for the host, buddy. I appreciate it.
That's just a fun name to say. The deep voice guy.
The deep voice.
He's
got a deep voice. No joke.
I believe it. Oh, it'd be really weird if you named yourself the deep voice guy and talked like this.
I didn't know that, VTS. I should basically add it on my Stream Deck, because I have a Stream Deck here, and I didn't add it to my Stream Deck at all.
Have you had a chance to watch anything yet? I mean, in a while.
You mean watch my stuff?
No, just like watch like stuff that's on like TV, Hulu.
No,
Netflix.
Man.
Oh, dude,
as soon as we hang up, the first thing happens is I check my DMs, and I got to go through all that list, and then there's more work to do, and there's like already
so much work. This is why when you were asking me to like try to go for being a partner streamer, I was like,
yeah, I know,
that's way too much work.
I know.
I have a baby. I have very little free time as it is.
But hey, again, I was gonna let you know is when I get
time, I just watch TV anyway.
What's up, buddy? Damon's Gaming is here as well as another streamer I met in TwitchCon 2019. I'd love to bring him in so he can talk about that experience. That's one of the people I networked with in TwitchCon, and Sam Woodhall is another one. And there were some really major streamers there, and we did the after party. But you have done a lot.
I should introduce you to Smashly.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
She did the same thing, kind of like what you're doing, and starting through Planetside 2 was like a game that she really enjoyed and started playing some stuff. Did a run in Dark Souls, really fell in love with Warframe and what have you. Did a lot of TwitchCons. She's all about the hammers.
That's awesome. Yeah, the hammers are awesome.
Yeah, Smash is good people. I like her.
Smash. I'd love to actually network with her as well. But I'm thinking, would you be down to have yourself, myself? It's going to be a lot of people, though. Can I show you an example of somebody else's stream? I'm going to bring it up right now so you can see this. If you're down for it, if more people are down for it, I'd love to hear the chat if you guys are interested in it too. But I'm giving credit to the people that have already done it before me. His name is TrainerX TV. He's also Persian, but he's actually a pretty big popular streamer. Here it is, 27 seconds. I just won't play the audio, but I'll just at least play the track for you guys. So they have their own debates. And they have, this is his design layout, which is really nice. I don't have the design layout, but I met them all at TwitchCon, and so has Damon Gaming.
You're not sharing that screen with me, so I can't
see. Here it is. And so you'll see here, these are all the streamers. These are pretty big name streamers right here. XQC is one of the top right now. You got Ape, which is TrainRex TV. You got Raj Patel, who's probably done this exact same thing, but he's done it with one man and like 9 girl streamers. And at the very end, that guy, he's basically doing like a bachelor thing, he has to pick one of the girls every 30 minutes to get out of the stream. So that's what Raj Patel does, which he's like doing whatever the Bachelorette does on Twitch. TrainRex TV takes all of these big name streamers, has like 10 topics, and then they talk about those topics, and each one of them has an opportunity to talk. And the majority of them are actually attacking each other.
That seems like good content, but me, I just like having a conversation with somebody that goes on forever. It doesn't end.
No,
I like talking about like my understanding of sociology and psychology as it applies to people, like how it seems people think. Like you and I have talked about it a bit when I told you about my theories about why people play video games, what they get out of it, what they don't get out of it, and how that can sometimes go awry and end up in a very negative place, and sometimes how it can end up in a very positive place. And then how we're seeing the evolution of that with VR and how it seems to affect people in a completely different way. And more fun, and it's really funny. Like there's this one game called Pavlov, which is basically a direct copy of CS:GO, but in VR.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I saw you
talked about it. But the professional players have found that if they get somebody who's a high-end CS:GO player who has always wanted to play it in VR, and they put them in VR, all their instincts are wrong. Everything they've learned about CS:GO is, even though the levels are exactly the same and the weapons are same, everything that you would do in CS:GO is going to get you killed in Pavlov. It's really funny. I just love that stuff. But
I have a question from somebody in the chat that just said, where is it? Can we get a summary on why people play games? Do you have an idea about that?
Yeah, so I mean, well, games are entertaining, and that's the most part. Like, you need some kind of way to entertain yourself, like if you're playing or watching Twitch or what have you. I know when I was younger, I needed to consume multiple forms of entertainment, like how to watch the TV and play video games at the same time. Like, it just wasn't enough. A lot of people are on their phone playing games or on Twitter while also watching TV. Like, it's just not entertaining enough. That's how you know a show is really good, when you put the phone down, right? So
I think
entertainment
there's
is primary.
entertainment.
But when you see a
Entertainment
lot
is
of guys,
one. What is the other sides?
Yeah. So the other side of it, especially with younger guys, well, especially post pubescent guys, that
What age range would
when
you
all
say
those
is post-pubescent?
when those hormones hit you, there are two major things that you want to do, and they compel you to breed and they compel you towards violence. And if you can't do those things, then there's an amount of anxiety and frustration and anger that builds up because you can't do those things. And video games give you an outlet. Now, the outlet that people have had traditionally has been physical activity. This is sports, wrestling, running, what have you. People going outside, playing hide and seek or whatever. This is the traditional way to deal with it. And it's become less and less a thing that everyone can participate in, most of those activities. And so you need some kind of way to to get that energy out so that you're not like losing your mind. And video games will allow you to get that need for violence and physical interaction and just being crazy out of you. So you let the demons out, so to speak. The problem is that its lack of physical interaction still gives you leftover, well, this leftover energy and anxiety. And that can be harnessed for good or for bad. If you find like a good outlet for it, like, you want to say, I want to Twitch stream, or I want to make cartoons, or I want to make really cool cinematic videos about Planetside 2, using that in a creative outlet, you're using that because that can be very draining. You need something to do that's draining. And if you don't have that, then it can be very easily diverted towards, I'm going to go and just be a jerk to people randomly online, or I'm going to go and pick fights with people in this video game because they're not playing it the way I like it. And it can be very negative, where you're not able to like hurt enough, so to speak.
You're spot on about it, by the way, because I would go to my friends at every single friend event that sometimes they just want to chill. I have so much energy that I drain the crap out of everyone I met because I didn't have an outlet that would give me a chance to express myself at the highest levels to just be on empty.
Well, you didn't have something that could drain you. So I've got the same thing you do.
Yeah.
And I remember like when I went to college, like I said, I was ripping through that, no problem, business information systems. But then I also decided to get into video game design. So I was doing games, building a whole game thing, doing sandboxes before sandboxes. And then on top of that, I was producing a whole bunch of local bands in North Louisiana. I was helping them like build their CDs and helping them build their websites and their branding and all kinds of stuff like that. So I was embedded in a whole bunch of different things. I knew as a result of working with a bunch of these bands, I knew a bunch of drug dealers and strippers and all that stuff like that. But at the time, I was a good little Mormon boy, so I didn't participate. I just knew who these people were. And I'm a very non-judgmental person by nature. So I don't judge anybody by what they do. It's like, as long as you're not hurting anybody who didn't ask you to, it's fine. I always put that caveat on there. But what was really funny is at these parties, like I've had this energy, especially conversational energy that I got to get out, got to talk to people. And I love hearing people's thoughts on things. And at usually late at night at the party, people doing whatever drugs or alcohol that they're doing, when the night got really late and we're like probably 8 or 9 in the morning, the only people still awake are the people doing cocaine, and they're all congregated in someone's bathroom. I don't know why they do that. Talking about problems that didn't exist until they did the cocaine. And at that point, they are able to talk at the speed and kind of weirdness that I naturally do. So we're having a great conversation. And then somebody will stop and like, wait a minute, Kier, everybody knows that you don't do any drugs at all. How the hell are you still awake? And I was like, I think I naturally produce my own meth. I don't know. You guys finally got on my level. I'm actually kind of having fun in this conversation.
The path that you went in your life with all the drugs you took, but the drugs you were part of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was just around people doing it. Like, that's another thing about having that social mechanics part of your brain broken, is that peer pressure didn't work on me. Like the concept of like that all my peers are doing something, so I have to do it. Like I'd always hear kids say that, but everybody's doing it. I never understood that as a reason why I should have to do something. I was like, I do something because I want to, not because everyone else is. Like, why would you do something that makes you miserable just because your friends are doing it? Like, I don't get that.
I agree. So if around 2:30, if you don't mind, basically end the stream. I just want to make sure because you said at 3 o'clock. I have to be somewhere at 3. So then we basically get just do the same thing at 2:30. Right? It's like another 21 minutes. Do we want to go to chat and chat? Do you have any questions directly for PooNanners? Because this is where I basically brought PooNanners, guys. You can ask me questions anytime you want. I'd love to ask you direct those questions over to PooNanners. Just do at PooNanners. Yeah, well, Valkyrie Code Wolfie was going to drive. When is the dancing stream? PooNanners, do you dance?
No, not at all. I never really picked up the skill. I mean, like whenever I would go out with friends and they want to dance, I would just kind of like dance with them, but not with any like skill or talent. I had one of my older sisters says that the key to like dancing like at a club or a scene or whatever is just to pretend you don't care. And I was like, sweet, I kind of don't care anyway. And
I
so
have
it's like, and then as long as you're dancing with somebody, no one will think it's weird. But yeah.
Everybody's going crazy right now with dance. So the deep voice can ask you a
nothing
question. What is your
6'5"
favorite part
guy
about
does
casting and
dance-wise.
hosting?
There's nothing a 6'5" guy can do dance wise that looks attractive. It's just we're too gangly.
No, dude, not
I could
at all.
learn like
You
I could literally
easily-
spend
you
the
easily
next.
can.
I'll tell you, I could literally spend the next. Oh, I look it up. You look this up. I could literally spend the next several months learning like hip hop dancing, and just because of the dimensions, it'll just look awkward. There on our r/tall forum on Reddit, there are people that are experimenting with trying to figure out the kinesthetics of dance for tall people that will somehow communicate as attractive, and people are figuring it out. They're trying to.
So you're
They can do
6'5".
ballet kind of.
You're 6'5". You think that was basically bad. We have a guy in this channel that's 6'11". There he is. That's what he says. He's
And he can dance real good?
6'11". Can you dance,
Yeah, I'm
deep
Dutch
voice
as
guy?
well. Yeah. How good is your dancing?
Yeah.
I've never seen a Dutch person dance worth a crap. I'm just gonna. It's honest. We're gangly, man. It's weird.
Damn. But deep voice guy asked another question while he's typing that question to you. He says, where is it? He says, what is your favorite part about casting and hosting? And then we're going to go Maelstrom's question about, do you still play PS2 regularly, Nanners?
Oh, he's asking me.
Yeah, those are your questions.
So, casting and hosting, I actually, I mean, people who know me know that I'm actually not, I don't like doing it at all.
You don't like casting or hosting?
No, I like playing the game and getting in prox chat. That's what I like doing. And I had people kind of pressure me into casting because...
When we're talking about casting and hosting, we're talking about like your V respawn casting and coasting.
Your commentating or what have you.
Commentating, yeah.
I like for people to know about those games and what have you, and I like to celebrate the people who put in tons and tons of effort to be really good at it, because it's an outlet for them. And I especially, this is where I've gravitated towards VR esports, because a lot of those games, in addition to getting the I need to be able to solve a problem, which is a very hormonal thing for guys. We can be very obsessed with solving a problem versus even talking about it, which is like a normal point of conflict between boys and girls. They're like, I want to talk about the problem. I don't want to solve it. It's like, but must solve problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You get that way. So video games are good for that.
Men
outlet.
cannot freaking stop that.
Yeah, it's fine. But it's just a difference of wiring. It's fine. But the need to solve the problem, but you need to physically do something, and VR lets you do that because you have to physically do it. Like I was losing 6 pounds a week playing Echo Arena.
Oh yeah, dude, that's a virtual reality game that basically you play. That's
So
awesome.
I really found that super exciting, and I wanted other people to know how exciting it was and communicate that exciting. That's something that I'm able to do. Like I've found, even in Planetside 2, that if I can be excited about something, it gets other people excited. So I was like, if I can use that power to get other people excited about something that I love, Echo Arena or VR, then I'm going to do it. So that's what I've been doing.
Looks like we have Mofker live just showed up right now as well, and
I love Mofker, man.
all these people are
Good
stopping
people.
by. Look at his face. Look at that charming mustache that he's got going.
Oh yeah, he's always fun, man.
Yeah, he's literally the definition of
When you can understand him.
no, you could understand. You son of a Robert Downey Jr. He looks like him, like hands
Oh,
down.
I had not noticed
super
that.
handsome guy, no joke. And
I don't think I'm used to seeing him on camera.
I'm just so confused why he won't put himself on camera more, and like it just blows past my mind.
You're right. I've seen that before too, where like there are people that basically just straight up underwear models and they don't ever throw a camera on
I
themselves.
don't understand
Like,
it.
why would you deny everybody else that? Like,
No,
we have
Valkyrie, you
one of
gotta
our
check
top
out-
onward players in
you
the
gotta check out
European Union is like a
Valkyrie.
straight up model, and he's an absolutely gorgeous dude. And like no one knew until he showed up at the LAN. We're like, dude, what the hell?
It's just it's a combination of events. Some people truly enjoy their privacy, and I understand that. I have my best friends similar to that as well. Straight up, privacy is the most important, and to me, I'm the opposite. I really
have one
can
of
care
those
less
guys.
about privacy because
He's on our stream team, but he's been like a VR content creator for a long time. His name is The Lonely Viper. He's really good. He's got like over 100K subs on YouTube, I think 150 maybe. He's very prolific, but he would do everything that he did. He would do dressed as Deadpool, always. And he would come out to our after parties that we throw at like Oculus Connect and stuff like that before he had joined the team. And the guy is an incredibly handsome British dude, incredibly good-looking guy. And you're like, what the hell? What's with the getup? And it turns out that he works a job in particular that is in, like, I have to be vague, that's in that industry of protecting people's identity. And so it's very important that he also protect his identity. So, yeah. So it's like whenever we're shooting stuff at the after party, we just had to make sure it was okay to have him on camera as long as you couldn't identify it was him.
Yep.
And so whenever we would share that footage for people to do commentary on the after party, we had to make sure that they knew not to point out everybody that they recognized from the after party, because if people say the one person you didn't point out was him.
Pona, I'm going to get back on topic for the questions that are in chat. We have about 15 minutes left. I'm going to get chat to talk to PooNanners. Guys, at PooNanners' name so we can get questions over to him so we can actually...
The PS2 question?
So we have a PS2 question. Did Nanners answer the question about PS2? The question was, do you play PS2? What is it? It was... What is your favorite part about casting and hosting? Maelstrom says, do you play PS2 regularly, Nanners?
No, I used to play every Friday. Just haven't had the time. And then I came back whenever Walmart greeter said, "Hey, come back. We have fleet carriers now." You know, I have a baby. It just eats up a lot of time. But I usually play 2 hours on Friday, and I took a break for a bit because baby times. And then he said they have carriers and they're gonna explode and it's awesome. And I was like, okay, well I got to see this.
I love how Walmart knows exactly what you want.
Again, and then we did the Bastion Smash. I had to do a lot of setup for it, a lot of production setup type stuff, which basically made it so I couldn't play Planetside 2 without reversing everything, and I didn't want to mess up Bastion Smash. We did the Bastion Smash, and then the weeks that have been since Bastion Smash, it's just like when not going to a gym and working out. I keep making an excuse because I don't want to come up here and fix everything to play Planetside 2.
Is Hagwell, that's your question right there. Is this, how is the Lonely Viper to talk to?
He's cool as hell, man.
Who's the Lonely Viper? I'm sorry.
He's very cool. He's very good looking. Very, very smart. Yeah, man. He's the real deal. I guess that's why he has so many people like following him and what have you. But
do you mind if you tell me who he is so everybody else knows?
That's who it is. The Lonely Viper.
Oh no, so like is Lonely Viper a YouTuber, a VR streamer?
Both.
Nice, awesome.
If you just Google it, it should come up.
Planetside VR. Somebody's asking, saying, "Hey, would you be feel like making a game?
Branding.
How would you feel about make a game recreated?"
Oh
in
damn,
PS2
he's at
style?
250K subs on YouTube.
Oof.
I apparently misremembered that.
Nice.
Like he's on the V Respawn stream team, and I just don't keep up with this stuff. That's
awesome,
Cutie Pop's
man.
job. It's Cutie Pop's job to manage the stream team.
I know. It's really hard, man. What's up, Dave Walker?
I've been a manager for a long enough time that I'm really good at delegating.
Let's see what else. Yeah, so how would you feel about having a game recreated PS2 style game mechanics in VR?
Oh, 100%, dude. Every time when we first got into VR, there were people using tools that would allow you to kind of play, like you could view Planetside 2 in VR, so you could look around. And VR gives you a real sense of how big things are actually supposed to be. You don't realize that you're just playing a flat game through a window, like not even a good window, because in a window you normally at least get the perspective of 3D. You're basically playing through like a painting that changes. You don't realize that till you get to playing a bunch of VR games, where just like the slight movements in your head that you don't even know you're doing to get like a sense of depth and with your eyes and what have you. It's just it makes it, we call these flat games or pancake games, and it can be very hard to go back to playing flat games once you're used to VR. Even if the graphics fidelity is like low quality,
right?
That 3D immersion thing is just worth so much more to your brain. Your brain just values it so much more that it doesn't care. But yeah, if I could play Planetside 2 in VR, I'd really enjoy it. I don't know that I would run face first into a hailstorm or bullets as much though.
There's no way I would basically breach a room if I saw bullets flying me. I would just maintain my position and try to take that guy
out. Walker wants me to zoom out, I guess.
Look at the setup, guys.
There's more going on.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I want to press some buttons and see if they even get them to work.
That's so sick.
Power going out probably didn't help anything.
He's got the coolest setup.
What? There's that.
Sorry.
I was trying to see why that wasn't working. Yeah. Spotty internet doesn't help anything. Yeah, fun stuff.
Hands down.
Yeah, I did that because I could. I don't remember why I got the idea. Well, to put arcade buttons in my desk. I don't remember why I decided to do that. It just kind of crossed my mind, and I was like, I'm going to do it. I started drilling holes in the desk. I remember my production group were just like, why did you do that? And I was like, yeah, it looks cooler.
So right now,
like, the whole retro-y arcade thing, the whole 80s thing goes really well with VR. Because like back in the 80s, we were promised that everything would be VR, and it's only just now starting to be a deal. So like most of the people that are playing VR are like younger than 19 or older than 35. There's like this group between 19 and 35 that seem to hate the idea of VR. And my theory on that is that those kids in that age group their first gaming console was very likely the Nintendo Wii, which had motion controls, which was kind of, I wouldn't say a scam, but it was very gimmicky and kind of crap, right? And so they're like, in their head, they're like, not again, right? I think that's why they're so much against it. Everybody over 35, they grew up in the 80s where like everything was supposed to be VR, so they're super excited about the concept. And all the younger kids are just looking for something that the old people aren't doing. Like they're like, old people are the ones that play PlayStation. I want to do something different.
Old people don't want to do the PlayStation.
VR headset of choice? It depends. Right now, I'm a big fan of the Quest just because I can take it anywhere and I can plug it in my computer if I want to. And it requires there's no setup issues. Like it used to be such a to-do to play VR, and the Quest, you just put it on, it goes.
They're asking what's the VR headset of choice?
Huh?
VR headset of choice.
Yeah, that's what I'm answering.
Oh, sorry.
You're zoned out there.
I was reading the question. I was like, did he say Vive or did he say Oculus?
It really depends on your application. Oculus Quest for sure. The Rift S I like because I can also just plug it into my computer and it just goes. I had 4 CV1s and a Vive. As soon as as soon as Echo Arena came out in July of 2017, I put my Vive in a box and never used it again, and then ended up giving it away to somebody. As soon as I got a Rift S and a Quest, I gave away my other 4 CV1s. And I haven't bought an Index. Most of my stream team uses an Index because it's really good if you want to do mixed reality streaming with kind of like a track camera. Most of the pro players for pro FPS games are playing on an Index because of the tracking fidelity is slightly higher in some situations.
It's better than the Vive?
It's situational. Just depends on what you want to get.
It's better than the Vive?
Suggest anybody buy something, like what headset to buy, I'll get a Quest hands down. One, that the Quest out of the box, you don't even need a gaming PC to use it, right? Like, and you can show this to anybody. Like, one of the funnest things you can do with VR is literally show it to someone else, just to watch it blow their mind. And it is way less effort to just slap a Quest on someone's head and be like, go for it.
Right.
And then if you want PC level VR graphics, then you literally just get their little cable that plugs inside of it, goes USB-C on your computer, and then you're off to the races using your computer's graphics. Which is really funny because when they that wasn't a launch option. So they had the Quest and the Rift S that were out, and they released the Rift S's cable in that option. People were like, well, just way to take a crap on all of us to have a Rift S, because it's like, what's even the point anymore? And I was like, well, it's sending compressed video over to the Quest, not like a lower frame rate. So it's, it's not exactly as good as the Rift S, but, it's really great value and simplicity, though. There's that. I played through Half-Life Alyx on my Rift S. And I really enjoyed the game. I did not feel like it was as immersive as Lone Echo was, but it's a lot of fun to play. Did a good job.
Right now. Anybody else has to have any questions? We're about to end the stream in 7 minutes. I want to basically focus all questions on PooNanners. And this individual right here has a Twitter account, guys. Check him out at PooNannersPlay.
PooNannersPlay.
PooNannersPlay. Make sure you guys check out the text.
I have not played Boneworks. A lot of my friends played it. They liked conceptually what they were going for, but I needed a tighter experience with the amount of time that I have. So I played Half-Life.
Boneworks,
which I hear is not too dissimilar. I hear they get a little bit more free with the physics engine in Boneworks, but the freedom that they give you, I hear, can be a little bit VR simulator sickness inducing. Which is not usually a problem for me. I've got pretty solid VR legs, but might as well just avoid it.
They're asking questions like mad right now.
Stare at your monitor from 1 centimeter away from sometime. It's exhausting. How do you do it for hours? I think it's a lot of times the comments I get that are detracting from VR usually come from people that don't play it. The way that they set it up, the way that they do it with the lenses and what have you, like you're just not aware. Immediately you just think you're there. So you don't notice it. And the only kind of eye exhaustion thing you can get are in some various situations. People are aware of what they are, and so you can get warnings to avoid that. The Oculus Quest, I don't know about the Rift S, but I know the Quest also has like a night mode, which is similar if you run Flux on your computer. You ever do that? Where cuts the blue light out for whenever you're playing late at night. They have that built in the Quest. You just toggle it on. But yeah.
Right now, there's individuals.
Workout right now. I manage a group of programmers in the medical industry. In the Houston Medical Center. You already said where we can follow PooNanners.
Yep. I said you guys can follow him right now. It's right below his name.
The most with VR? I would say Echo Arena, honestly. Lone Echo, actually. Well, Lone Echo was the single player for Echo Arena. But it's like this space adventure game. Like so The problem is that in VR, when they first try to make stuff, they try to make stuff like video games, right? And it turns out that that's not the power of VR. And Spielberg had hit on it very early on, that its ability to tell stories, the immersion factor. And with Lone Echo, they wrote their script and rewrote it so hard to front load a psychology of that character that you're playing on you, that they flip a switch with a crisis they introduce in the game, like you're basically your Act 2 climax, or the Act 1 climax, like leads you into Act 2, that flips a switch in your brain, you go into panic, and you are that character. And then from that point on, you were not playing a game, you were living a science fiction movie. And it is wild, the immersion experience. And I haven't had anything quite that level yet, but I know a lot of people are working. I know they're working on a second Lone Echo, but yeah, that was really mind-blowing. It's hard to tell that story sometimes without like kind of freaking out a little bit. What else did he say? Boneworks is a tech demo.
Oh,
where can
dude.
we follow PooNanners work on? Just go to PooNanners.com. Everything's there. Let's see.
Giacomo
What's a good starter VR kit? Quest, I said every time. You'll need to oh, that's you saying something. Have you played Wipeout VR? I don't think so. I'm not sure what that is. I think I've seen the name, but I don't remember what it is. Let's see. They're talking about voice meter. I gotta look for question marks.
Have you had a chance to basically play a racing game on a wheel in VR? Thoughts compared to
I've not
in
played
real
on a
life?
wheel, but I've played racing games. Very early days, they had this little toy car racing game that was like on PlayStation. Blaze Rush, I think it was called.
No, on
and you
VR.
could play it with a, yeah, and you could play it. You could play it where you're basically looking down on it from a VR headset. And you can play it on a controller, and it felt like playing with cars when you were a kid, like what you imagine them doing with like booster rockets and shooting each other. But you could see it happening.
Yeah.
And I straight dropped into PooNanner's commentator voice playing that game for everyone else in it, and they were just like dying and having a good time. But I freaking love that game. That game's straight up freedom. All the explosions, all the time
In your face.
We've got about 3 minutes left. What was the thing that you wanted to do with me, or for Planetside 2? You said you want to make your own event, and so many people would be
we want to
interested
do
in it.
Whale Wars, right?
Tell everybody about Whale Wars. Whale
So
Wars. I
very
can't
early days
say
of
the damn
Planetside
word.
2, one of the earliest esports type events I got into. I can't remember who the guy who was organizing it was, where he was having like a Top Gun or Friday Night Fights or something like that. But what it was taking the best pilots and having them do one-on-ones in various locations. And it was pretty exciting, but no one could beat our guitar because our guitar was insane. But watching these people go at it toe-to-toe, and these fighters is like, no. And you always hang out in the warp gate, and there'd be people kind of wrestling with their sky whales. And I was like, that's what I want to see. I want to see like professional wrestling style matches with like the trash talking and tag teams and stuff like that, but done with galaxies in a warp gate. So they don't straight up explode. You just got to pin the guy, and somebody's gonna be like 1, 2, that kind of stuff. So I was like, we could call it Whale Wars. We could do the whole thing like it's pro wrestling. So we're just like talking everything up. I would totally be like, Lawler, the king over here, just talking that kind of crap. It'd just be great watching it. Listening to somebody trying to provide serious analysis about the wrestling would just be so great. Someone trying to put a straight face on for that.
Okay.
Really enjoy that.
And so, how many people goes in the Whale Wars? Are we looking at like one-on-ones? Are we looking at like 5-on-5s? What's the situation?
I think you would do it just like professional wrestling, where you would start with just doing one-on-ones, and then if people wanted to do tag teams or want to do battle royales, you could work your way up to that, build up those events.
Okay.
I think like most things that I do in production is that you start simple, and then you add, every time you come back to do another one, you just add something to it.
How many people
Make a
should
little
sign
tweak,
up?
make a
That way,
little
I'm
change.
gonna set this up for you, so you can just join, have fun. How many people should sign up? 100, 10, 20? Because I can easily get the sign up to 100 in seconds.
I think for Whale Wars, for that kind of like professional wrestling, I think what people should do is they should do like you do in professional wrestling, where you have some guys kind of wrestling it out in the warp gate, and then they pick 1 or 2 guys from their group that they feel have the best chance of doing it, and they support their friends and help them build like a branding, like how they're going to make their galaxy look, what their name is going to be, the kind of trash they're going to talk, stuff like that. Like building their mythos behind their character. And I would suggest like little groups of people. They don't necessarily have to be in the same outfit, but usually friend groups are about 5 or 6 people, like tight friend group. So finding 1 or 2 guys. If you have 2 guys, then it's very easy to set up for tag teaming and stuff. And just building it as what's the word I'm looking for? All flash, no substance characters as you could make. Like just go completely nuts with it, and really like practice with your guys on like staying in character on just the absurdness of what it is they're doing, but they're talking about it like it's like a really serious.
Mhm.
That would just be freaking priceless.
Because it's your event and your main new conglomerate. just go new conglomerate because we have to have all the same race. They do fighting with each other without blowing up.
I have an account on each of the factions on both Emerald and Connery, so it's not a big deal.
Okay, I would just pick one faction. So you want to just pick NC?
It would be nice. I mean, I think honestly, NC Emerald, yeah, because this way everybody can kind of make their character look like it's supposed to. But I do think NC would make the most sense because they do have to be the same faction in order for you to get that fighting in the warp gate. Because you can't pin a galaxy.
We're also gonna have to do it on a private test server. We can't do it on the main server.
Yeah. Well, even if you did a private test server, well, you have to do it in the same warp gate.
Yeah.
You'd have to manage a bunch of counts, but I do think you could get away with it on a live server.
The reason why a live server will be difficult is because of queue.
True. Well, I mean, I think the thing is that you would just play on the continent that people weren't on. Would be one move. It would be a little bit difficult, but I think that starting off kind of like what's the word, on the ground. I don't know if gonzo is the right word, but where you're not really like doing it officially. There could be a lot of fun into just doing it kind of like a mess. One, there's a lot less organization required, and there's a lot more opportunity for just stuff to go wrong. But what would also be great is that you have two guys trying to have a wrestling match, and some bozo just comes out of nowhere with his galaxy and tries to jump in. Instead of you playing into what this person's trying to troll, you convince them to be part of your wrestling federation because they obviously want to wrestle with their whales. Like, do it. So you just try to get as many people in there who want to do it. It'd be great.
I'm going to go and get the raid going. PooNanners, do you want to basically add anything for everybody in chat? Everybody who's just watching and overall, like, this was Feelings Friday. Everybody just have fun. There's just like, you want to see more of this?
Much about feelings.
I think we had a good time.
Next time.
That was good. That was good. I liked it.
We have to talk about how we feel, man.
Dude, everybody was basically going at you, man, on this question. That's just all. I was like, holy crap, I can't keep up.
Know that we're not robots.
Dude, did you see that video? Like, where I'll just send the video afterwards. This is not family friendly video. I take it back. Just like, nope, I can't share that one. We're gonna go and raid. My actual editor is actually editing right now ArsheeTV footage. We're just gonna hit that guy, and
that's like the name of the channel.
No, it's Orion. He's currently editing ArsheeTV footage right now, and I decided might as well just go grab our viewers and say hi to him. And if you guys did not get a chance, check out PooNanners, guys, on Twitter. He basically lets you know about all of his future events, and that's where he wants everybody to go. And you can go also his website as well and check out. You want to say the website one more time?
I use my Twitter that well. It's usually just random thoughts.
Check out your video and your DMs for PooNanners. Oh. If I push this button, everything's going to go out of whack. I'm going to push Beer back real quick. 1 second. My DM. All right, we're back, guys. Before we do the raid, there's a video that my editor, Uog/admin.
Pointed at the monitor.
Yeah, I have the camera pointed at. That's what he did with his phone. So he's going to show PooNanners the Phoenix that he had.
Oh, he's got me one.
And he put a logo at the end of it. And so you can get rid of that logo part and just have the eagle alone.
Is it transparent BG? If it's
it should be transparent BG. If it's not, then we're kind of screwed on that.
If it's transparent BG, definitely remove the logo because like I'm not video expert enough to know how to edit a transparent BG video. I know how to. What's the word? I know how to take a transparent video, and then hit the correct buttons in DaVinci Resolve that I'm able to export.
We just rated it right now.
But that's it. I've never tried to actually edit one.
Let's just get there. Now watch this. Ryan just gonna rated by me. I'm gonna end the stream now.
I'm in there. I'm watching.